Hey BookTube, this is Kelly and I am here today to do a tag. This is the bookshelf book tag. It was created by Serena at Wondering Mind and I saw it on Brian's channel, Brian from Bookish. So we'll just dive right in. Question number 1, how many bookshelves do you have? So I didn't count the actual number of shelves, especially because we do have, as you can see above me, shelves on top of the bookcases, but we have 8 bookcases, and then we have a cupboard, and that's typically where we keep, we keep the kids' books there, and then there's some other really obscure things. How many books are on your bookshelves? So, we have approximately 1,000 books. It's a lot. Question number 3, how do you organize your books? Now, if you're at all familiar with my husband's channel, Jason at Old Blues Chapter and Verse, can believe me that I don't get to organize the books. And that's okay. I see how much joy Jason gets from organizing our books, and so that's his thing. Every time we've moved, he packs the books in a specific way, and anyway, I'm so glad that we have this huge personal home library, and we won't be doing that for hopefully ever again. So the books are organized. All the fiction is alphabetical by author. And then we have a bookcase that's kind of religious texts, Christian nonfiction, those sorts of things. On top of one of the bookcases is all of the poetry, which makes it quite challenging for me to get to. And then when we get into nonfiction, it gets a little bit messy. At the bottom of the bookcase, next to me over here, starts some more kind of ancient books. The Odyssey is over there, things like that. And then on this bookcase, it kind of is like literary criticism or literary related books. Then we have some film books. You can see the Terrence Malick book. Obviously, we know whose book that is. And then we have a whole section devoted to Sylvia Plath. Then we get into Shakespeare. So we start off with the plays, and then it goes into all of the Shakespeare-related books we have. Then it starts in biography. We have a smaller bookcase, definitely not as tall as the one behind me, but a smaller bookcase that has the rest of our nonfiction on, and the top of that bookcase is the overflow, if you will. So all the things that don't fit, and yeah, I don't know what to do about that. But anyway, so that is kind of how our bookshelves are organized. So it's pretty straightforward when it comes to fiction, but then nonfiction gets a little wild. Question number 4, what is the oldest book on your bookshelf? And I wasn't sure if this meant like oldest as far as like when it was created, or oldest in terms of book you've owned the longest. Put my tea down. But I'm gonna go with the book I consider to be mine, and this is T.A. Larson's. I know it's very attractive to look at. You can kind of see on the spine there, there's like a shovel and a hammer, and I don't know what else is that in there. Anyway, this is T.A. Larson's History of Wyoming, and this was my parents' copy. There's a map inside and the papers there. And this was actually the history textbook that was used at the University of Wyoming when my parents went there. And it is signed to both of my parents from T.A. Larson. So anyway, I don't know if I think I'm going to read this book. I really do think that I will read this book eventually. But yeah, so I consider this to be the oldest book. Question number 5. What is the newest book on your bookshelf? So the newest book is not mine, although I may someday read it. It's Red Comet, The Short Life and Blazing Art of Sylvia Plath. And this is by Heather Clark. Came out in late 2020. And Jason just absolutely had to have it. This was one of his 6 books that he bought at the end of the year. So anyway, it is huge, and I'm sure you'll be hearing more about this book on Jason's channel soon. So what is the longest book on your bookshelf? Okay, so again, this is, and I may be taking liberties with the idea of longest book. This is a 3-volume book, and again, this is Jason's. So this is the 3 volumes. Oh my God. About Graham Greene, and it's by Norman Sherry. And again, this was one of those things Jason absolutely had to have, but he has not read any of it yet. So if someone wants to, have a year-long buddy read with Jason at some point, like, this would be great. What is the shortest book on your bookshelf? And I did not grab anything for this. I mean, we do have, we have a lot of plays, a lot of collections of poetry. They're just scattered all over the place. So there are definitely slim books in our library for sure. This might not, this bookcase in and of itself might not be the best example, although there are the plays and things like that. So yeah. Okay. What is the predominant genre on your bookshelf? And I would say for the most part, it is literary fiction and classics. So we don't have all the penguins together or anything like that. But we do have, we have a lot of fiction. That is by far and away what our personal library is predominantly made up of. Let's see, question number 9. Have you done a bookshelf tour? And I haven't. And that's kind of why I decided to do this tag, is just, part of it is just the pure challenge of trying to get the cameras at the right angles and, move things around so that you could see the library. But if that's something that you're really interested in me doing, let me know down in the comments section. But I haven't done that in part because, this is very much a blended library. These are Jason's books and my books. And yes, they are, he would criticize me and say there are books. And yes, they are books, but clearly, like, the Terrence Malick book, belongs to one of us, and the T.A. Larson book is clearly a Kelly book, Kelly Reid. So let's see. No, question number 10 is go to a random number generator and talk about the book that corresponds. I don't have time for this, I'm sorry. So I just grabbed a book off our bookcases that I think I'm gonna read this year. This is The Women's Room by Marilyn French. And it's a penguin, nice penguin book there. Anyway, so I don't know where exactly I heard about this book, but and I think it was initially published quite a while ago. It's like 1977. And then this reprint came out in 2009. So this is a book I've owned and has been on my TBR for quite a while. But I think it's just about kind of the contrast between the discussions about women's issues outside the women's room and what women are saying to each other, inside of it. Let's see, offered piercing insight into the social norms accepted so blindly and revered so completely. The Women's Room questions those accepted norms and poignantly examines the world of hopeful believers looking for new truths. So sounds really interesting to me, and yeah, so that's just a random book from our bookcase. I don't think I've ever talked about that on my channel. Question number 11. Do you have any fan merch or decorations on your bookshelf? Yes. We have lots of stuff. I think there's actually another tag that's like the knick-knack book tag, but I generally try to save a lot of that stuff for my fake crates, which I haven't done anywhere near as many of those as I would like to have done. I am planning to do a Dickens one at some point this year, because we do have a lot of Dickens fan merch, if you will. But you can see next to my tea here, like we have Shakespeare mugs. Gosh, we have penguin mugs. We have a poster made of penguin postcard, a set of Russian nesting dolls that I got when I was in St. Petersburg, and Jason feels like they should be next to the John le Carre books, which are all about the Cold War and spies and things like that. So that's where they are. The Dala horses we try to keep by Henning Mankell, Sweden. So yes, we do, but it's just one of those things like that would be a whole separate thing. Okay, so the last one again is show us your bookshelf. I will try to take a video of the library using the iPad differently, but yeah, it's hard to, it's a really long, skinny room, and it's just hard to sort of encapsulate, if you will. So I'd like to tag a few people. I'm not sure who exactly has done this tag or not, so my apologies if you have. I would like to tag Jason Harrigan from Jason Has Books. I think Jason owns like 6,000 books, so that would be really cool. Courtney Ferriter, who is currently doing a buddy read with me of Dr. Zhivago. So, and then Mark Nash. And Mark had his books in a shed for a while, and I think sadly lost a lot of them due to moisture and mold and things like that. So I don't know if there's books still in the shed, Mark, that you can show us. But yeah, so I'm going to give a tag there to Mark. And then Hannah from Hannah's Books. I'm always curious about the books behind her. And again, I apologize if these people have all done library tours or things like that. I would love to see these people's libraries. I think that would be really fun. So thank you so much for watching BookTube. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you later. Bye.